You'll never find a more wretched show of fun and villainy. We should be cautious.
Would you say that you're a maniac?
He's a maniac on the floor. And he's dancing like he's never danced before. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron Fun and Villainy. My name is Tyler Buck, sat across from Mike Calhoun, and Jonny Trowbridge, as always, we're your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity. And he's dancing like he's never danced before. We just got back from Hell IKEA.
Oh,
man.
I wasn't there.
Jonny wasn't there. Calhoun and I were there.
Oh, it was insane. It was tough too.
What was it like?
It was confusing, first of all.
Right,
Because you thought you were just being tortured normally, but no, they had all these displays of new torturous ways, and you had to check them out because I mean, it's interesting.
You're in Hell IKEA.
It's Hell IKEA. We're not gonna go back because they're all like spread out throughout the country. We don't have them everywhere.
Right.
That's true.
But no, we got out. We followed the exit sign.
Yeah, we just saw the exit sign and just left. It was,
but we did
quite
make
easy.
it. We made it a stop at that buffet, though.
We did. It was near the buffet. That's why we were like, oh, the buffet, and we thought it would be better there. And
right, but there's just a bunch of like cockroaches and poisonous snakes and whatnot. They did have the meatballs, though.
Yeah, the Swedish meatballs were still there.
Yeah.
Any good?
You missed out. They were all right.
They were really hot. I mean, it was
filled
lava.
with maggots, but still pretty good.
Tasty.
They tasted like Swedish meatballs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what can I say?
Even in hell.
Yeah, but we made it out. The quiz
Hell IKEA.
The quiz master didn't send us back there yet, but we're
Right.
here now, and we're talking about Star Wars in the Oscars. Well, thank you. I would like to thank Jonny, and I'd like to thank Calhoun and the listeners. Cad Bane's Bounty for being on our tiny chair. Oh, really? Really? I didn't even thank my mom or don't get your hands off me, sir. Get your hands off me.
They had to play him off because he was taking too much time.
Which is true for what's going on right now.
No, not really. It's not really what's going on, but it's kind of similar to what was happening. It was announced recently by the Academy chairman. I'm not going to say his name. That they would be giving out the awards for editing, short film live action, hair and makeup, and cinematography during commercial breaks of the broadcast.
Cinematography? I've never heard of that newfangled thing.
Yeah, when did they start implementing that into movies?
I don't know.
Probably recently.
Well, it's a
maybe
good
the 90s.
thing because those are not needed.
Not at all.
Especially cinematography. I mean,
Yeah.
who's ever even seen a cinematography?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to awards in film, the film itself doesn't matter.
What's the purposing behind this?
What was the purpose?
Yeah.
There was no purpose given. It was just the Academy wanted to, I don't know, fit all of the awards by excluding some of the awards. Anyway,
They wanted that ad revenue.
there was a lot of outrage and a lot
Look at
of
that face, John.
justified. Some members of the Academy spoke out, prominent directors, and they were just saying, look, the Academy Awards haven't mattered much to me since X, Y, and Z things happened. And it's true. It's not like the Academy Awards has avoided controversy until now.
Never.
But I'm happy now that they've announced that all of them will be televised. And there was a statement that we had. Let me read it for you real quick. It's really quick.
But the issue is speeches might be that quick. Thank
Well,
you
I
so
mean,
much.
Well, they've always had to
okay.
be. In the past, they've always televised them all, and you can go and watch them later if you need. But the speeches, keep them short and sweet.
Let me say, I've seen a couple different award shows where they don't have a time limit on speeches, and it's good that they have time limits. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, unless you're an orator, a talented orator like Count Dooku himself. So the brief statement that the Academy released was, we have heard the feedback from our membership regarding the Oscar presentation of 4 awards: cinematography, film editing, live action, short, and hair and makeup styling. All Academy Awards will be presented without edits in our traditional format. We look forward to Oscar Sunday, February 24th.
We do too.
That's sourced from nofilmschool.com. And I'm happy. I'm happy they've changed it. You know, a little bit of pressure was needed, but we're back to honoring the people that make movies properly.
And Star Wars has been a constant when it comes to Oscars.
Ever present.
Yeah. Anytime a new Star Wars film has come out, you better believe it will have some type of touch in the Oscar scene. And this year, this Sunday, when this comes out, be rooting on Solo, trying to win the award for special effects.
Visual effects.
Visual effects. Sorry.
No worries. It's the two get mixed up all the time.
Special visuals.
Special effects would have been the category that the early Star Wars could have been nominated for.
True.
It's possible. They're kind of wrapped together.
And we'll be getting to that in a second, but we're going to go through each film and what it won, what it was nominated for, and then some of the little tidbits of who they lost to and those types of things. Let's kick it off with Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, or as it was known then as just Star Wars. It won Best Art Direction. Best Art Direction, Set Decoration, Best Costume Design, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, Best Effects. Visual effects, and Best Music Original Score. So that right there's 6.
That's incredible. I mean, it moved mountains, the whole movie.
Right.
So, I mean, we can assume that it was going to be honored at the Academy Awards very heavily.
It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Alec Guinness, Best Director George Lucas, and Best Writing Screenplay written directly for the screen for George Lucas as well.
I think those were his second and third nominations after American Graffiti.
Look at that.
But he may have had a writing and directing nomination for American Graffiti. Don't quote me, but yes, this was the second movie that he actually received nominations for.
I have the people they lost to for those nominations.
Oh, really?
Do you want to know them?
Yeah,
I would love
of
to
course.
know them. Who was up?
For the nomination for Best Director, it actually went to Woody Allen.
For what movie?
For Annie Hall.
Deserved.
The Best Supporting Actor, we got nominated.
It was Alec Guinness.
Yeah, Alec Guinness was nominated for Best Supporting Actor that year.
He was nominated, right?
Yep.
Yes.
But he didn't win.
Nope.
The guy who won was Jason Robards.
For what
Good old-
film?
I can't remember what film.
Good
But
old Jason Robards.
Jason Robards.
I was like,
I'll
I've
look
never
him
heard
up
of him.
briefly while you look. Give us.
For Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, Star Wars nominated, but Woody Allen won with Marshall Brickman for Annie Hall again.
Jason Robards was in All the President's Men in '77.
Well, there you go.
He looks
Excellent
like a fine young gent.
And then Best Picture was nominated, but Annie Hall won. So Annie Hall took quite a few.
Classic film.
But then again, New Hope getting 6. They kind of won
ridiculous.
several.
Oh,
there.
for sure. They cleaned house.
And then that year, the special award went to Ben Burt for sound effects for the creation of the alien creature and robot voices.
Wrote himself in Hollywood history that year, I would say.
Ben Burt. I mean, we've talked about how great he is
Yep.
on this show before, and how strange he's found the ways to make these noises and sounds and everything.
Appropriate that a podcast would want to honor Ben Burt. And then we almost forgot his name. We were blanking on his name a couple episodes ago. Goodness.
I know.
Obviously, we know and honor Ben Burt, but we can't be encyclicopedias 100%
I mean,
of the
we,
time.
we pray to him before every episode.
Yeah, we've got our shrine intact.
right, but
well
right
polished.
beside well polished,
Yeah,
polishing every single bit.
every little bit.
Empire Strikes Back. I would have thought this would win more.
Way more.
It only won Best Sound that year. And then it was nominated for Best Art Direction and Set Decoration, and then Best Music Original Score.
Fascinating.
That year, the Special Achievement Award went to Brian Johnson, Richard Adland, Dennis Murin, and Bruce Nicholson for visual effects.
I mean, Star Wars visual effects has always been the industry standard.
I have who won those ones they were nominated for.
Best Art.
for the product or production design. It went to Tess with Pierre Gouffroy and Jack Stevens. Never even heard of that movie.
Me
No.
either.
Tess?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the original score went to Michael Gore for the movie Fame, which I haven't heard of.
Oh, that must. I bet you.
I've heard of it.
Is that a biopic about excuse me, what's his? He recently passed. He was a rock star.
Oh yeah.
And his name starts with a, and his Ziggy Stardust. Why can't I think of his darn name?
David Bowie.
David Bowie. Thank you.
David Bowie.
Wow, that was a sad moment in my life.
He passed away like 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't I say
just
that?
passed away?
You said recently.
Yeah, that's recently.
That's pretty
Okay.
recent.
Okay. That's why I was trying to think of like who just passed away.
The Special Achievement Award was given to the 4 visual effects supervisors, one of which, Dennis Murin, who holds some records here. I'm going to read them. In 1994, he was given the Guinness World Record for most Oscars won for visual effects. He has 14 wins, Oscar wins. And his first Star Wars movie was Empire Strikes Back. And he went on to work on E.T., the first and second Jurassic Park films, Return of the Jedi, among a bunch of other things. He was the one that developed the liquid effect for Terminator 2.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that invented the technology to do that and animate that. He's incredible. Oh, he worked on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So obviously he worked very close with George over the years. And in 2006, he was the winner of the Guinness Book of World Records record for most Oscar nominations for visual effects, because he has 33 nominations. That's total, but not just Academy Awards.
Man.
Academy Awards, it's fewer. But he has won 30 out of his 33 nominations in his life. I think he has since retired, but he's an incredible VFX artist. Legend!
What?
Dennis Murin.
He retired? You mean he didn't have anything else he wanted to achieve?
Yeah, right.
Come on, man.
He didn't EGOT.
You're right.
He didn't EGOT.
He didn't EGOT.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Return of the Jedi. The only thing Return of the Jedi won was the Special Achievement Award that year, which was for visual effects. Richard Edlund, Dennis Murin, Ken Rouston, and Phil Tippett. So they won the award that year. It was nominated for Best Art Direction, Set Decoration, Best Sound, Best Effects, Sound Effects Editing, Best Music, Original Score. So the original 3 only won Best Music for A New Hope.
Which is super fascinating.
It's crazy.
The
because
music in the other 2 only get better.
Empire Strikes Back, this is a fun little tidbit you can tell people. Empire Strikes Back is the only time, or is the first time, the Imperial March comes in. The Imperial March was not a part of A New Hope.
You're right. That is incredible.
Because I believe technically it was Darth Vader's like theme. So the whole thing was this, this is the foreboding villain and it's his theme or whatever, but that wasn't in A New Hope. It only started in Empire Strikes Back, and they didn't even win the award that year. When
Johnny, could you go ahead.
When Empire Strikes Back or the Imperial March might be the most famous theme of all time.
It has to be. I mean,
besides the main theme.
Besides the main theme, I was going to say people that are even unfamiliar with Star Wars.
I would say Imperial March is known more. The bum 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 bum.
Fun story. My sister's husband requested that I edit their wedding song, the song that my sister was going to walk down the aisle to during their wedding, and edit in the Imperial March to part of the track.
Yeah.
And
did it happen?
It did happen, and it was very funny, and everyone got a good laugh. And I think that is why he chose it, because he considers it the most recognizable. And also, it's kind of fun that it's like doom and gloom, like she's coming to get him. Very funny, very funny stuff. Johnny, do you know who won instead of
those people?
The best music, best effects
I do.
for sound editing, best sound, and best art direction? Who beat Ben Burt 2 extra nominations after the first one? I mean,
I'll tell you.
He gets the Special Achievement Award, but still, come on.
The Academy Award for Best Original Score went to the movie The Right Stuff,
Okay.
which is about some astronauts.
Oh,
No,
that's my favorite
I
movie.
can't disparage these movies simply because I haven't seen them, but it is disappointing just knowing the talented people that worked on these films.
Right.
Best Sound Mixing went to Jay Bokelheide with The Right Stuff. Academy Award for Best Production Design went to Anna Asp for the movie Fanny and Alexander,
Okay.
which I have never heard of, but it sounds like Calhoun has.
I haven't. I'm just nodding at the right stuff,
And
wondering what.
Best Sound Editing went to Jay Bokelheide with The Right Stuff.
The right stuff had Sam Shepard, good actor,
Mhm.
Scott Glenn, Ed Harris, great actor,
Good at
Dennis Quaid,
Oh.
Fred Ward, Barbara Hershey, Kim Stanley, Veronica Cartwright, and a lot of people I've never heard of. But it was a 1983 space film that has a decent rating on IMDb.
Huh.
I thought it was going to be something about the New Kids on the Block. Are you sure this thing's got the right stuff? Moving on.
Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. It didn't win anything. It was nominated for Best Sound, Best Effects, Sound Effects, Editing, and then Best Effects, Visual Effects.
Another movie that Dennis. That's actually one of the nominations that Dennis Murin had, but did not win. That's actually one of the few.
Wow.
I think the visual effects in Phantom Menace are stunning.
They are.
Stunning, he says.
Indeed.
Well, especially for the time.
99.
Yeah.
Well, you know who beat them? The Matrix.
Oh,
Ah, dang it! I was gonna
look
say
at the
that.
smile on this guy.
I was gonna be like, little known movie, not very famous.
not
Well,
very
those are-
good.
And you know why? It's because they redefined cinema with bullet time, and they have changed Hollywood forever because of it.
Yeah.
And every Japanese show, every Japanese anime has used bullet time.
Okay, so Academy Award for
That is a great notch on their belt there.
Yeah, exactly. They
We
invented.
we redefined filmmaking and anime.
The Wachowskis are geniuses.
yeah.
I have a shrine for them as well.
Yeah, that's
Ben
next
Burt,
to our Ben Burt
right
one.
next to the Wachowskis.
Academy Award for Best Visual Effects went to The Matrix. Best Sound Mixing went to John T. Ritz, Greg Rodloff, David E. Campbell, and David Lee with The Matrix. And Best Sound Editing went to Dane Davis of The Matrix.
It seems that like sequels get a little bit of an automatic.
Downgrading.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like people automatically consider it less worthy than new films, but that's not always the case. We've seen great films snubbed that clearly won't have sequels, so they won't ever have a chance of winning again. But The Matrix, I mean,
I wonder how many Mad Max Fury Road won. Because technically that's a sequel.
you're right.
But
You're
that one
totally
was
right.
amazing.
I also-
it was incredible.
I also wonder how much The Dark Knight won because that's like a
Oh, that's a good
true
point.
sequel.
I think it was nominated for 8.
Dang.
The Dark Knight.
I wonder how
And,
many won.
Look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Look it up, look it up.
Look it up while I move on to
Yeah,
a
sure.
sequel, Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, nominated for one thing. I'm sorry I laughed about that.
I was right with 8.
With 8, what did they win?
2.
2.
Best sound editing went to Richard King, and of
Heath
course, Best
Ledger.
Supporting Actor.
No,
went to
Best
Heath
Supporting
That
Actor
makes
went to
sense.
Heath.
Let me quickly read off the other nominations. It was Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Mixing, Best Film Editing, Best Production Design, and Best Makeup. No Best Director. Shameful.
Wow.
Shameful. I actually remember that specifically. I said, Nolan's going to get best. He's going to get nominated at the very least.
Right.
And he did not. And
Well,
that was a
that's-
shame.
That's the thing. Episode
Ooh, you should have done Fury Road.
Oh, I can.
Empire Strikes Back and Dark Knight are two, like, kind of comic book, sci-fi movies, whatever, that are listed on the top, 10 best films of all time.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
You're right. You're totally right. In critic and in user, made
Exactly.
lists.
And yet, well, I wouldn't say Dark Knight won a lot, but at the same time, Nolan didn't win for that.
He didn't. Yeah, you're right. It took Dunkirk for him to be recognized as an award worthy director.
Jeez,
Real quick,
Dunkirk is so good.
it is phenomenal. I have it on 4K, and you guys should watch it with me. Mad Max Fury Road. Real quick, because we wanted to mention it. It had 10 nominations, and it looks like 6 wins.
It's ridiculous.
Best sound mixing, best film editing, best costume design, best production design, best sound editing, best makeup. And then the ones that it was nominated for were best picture, best director, best cinematography. Should have won, and best visual effects also should have won.
Should have won best cinematography. Sure.
So Attack of the Clones, it was nominated for best visual effects. Do you have who lost?
Yes, I do.
Who they lost to?
It's very, very. I'm not surprised at all. Lost to Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
Spectacular movie and well deserved.
Yeah, you couldn't
the
beat
stuff that What a Workshop created in those movies changed film, changed movies.
How about Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith? It was nominated for Best Achievement in Makeup, and that was all it was nominated
But guess
for.
who won? And this one's pretty deserved too. Howard Berger and Tammy Lane of The Chronicles of Narnia: The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
That movie
with Mr. Tumnus.
The wardrobe for that one was pretty ridiculous.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
They should have got costume design for sure. His wardrobe was
Man, yeah, but
insane.
wasn't Tumnus like wearing like a full like?
James McAvoy.
Yeah.
He had yet to be explored as an actor.
I'll
by
always,
that point.
I'll always
Wanted-
see
did
him
Wanted come out
as
before that?
I'll always see him as Mr. Tumnus.
Will you?
No, Wanted came out after because I was like, "What, Mr. Tumnus? What are you doing bending bullets?"
Yeah. Mr. Tumnus, stop bending bullets.
The table's broken. Aslan lives. Okay, let's move on to the sequel trilogy. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. It was nominated for Best Achievement in Film Editing, Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Pictures, Original Score, Best Achievement in Sound Editing, and Best Achievement in Visual Effects, which I think are all deserved. You know what I mean?
Certainly. The visual effects in that, because we hadn't seen a Star Wars movie with updated visual effects since 2005, 2006. And those were good, and we loved them.
Right.
We really, really, that's what builds part of Star Wars. What do I want to
Mythos.
say? The mythos. Yeah. I was gonna say
Mystique.
What do I want to say? Mise en scene. That's what it is. The mise en scene of Star Wars
Mise en place.
relies kind of very similar. Relies on the visual effects.
Yes, mise en place.
I took so long to get there. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean now. You
It's
know.
totally fine. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It was nominated for Best Achievement in Sound Mixing and Best Achievement in Visual Effects for Rogue One. Yeah, that was another one that I really
Sound mixing
enjoyed.
in that was so good.
It was so pivotal to the movie as a whole, especially for that giant battle at the end in
Yes.
order to make it make sense.
I think every aspect of that movie lends itself to feel like it's a true successor to the original trilogy. The fact that they used old footage,
Right.
The fact that they kept the set design and everything to feel the same way.
I'm surprised they didn't win in visual effects for the Tarkin face transplant.
Oh yeah,
That was crazy.
because that's just visual effects. I mean, they did get the nomination, but no win. What year was that? 2016.
Yes, yeah.
Then it would have been up against Mad Max.
Yeah.
And let's find out who won.
Mad Max took the stakes.
It might be funny if they got mixed up and they gave them best makeup nominated because they thought Tarkin
Right.
was all just done in a chair.
Right? They didn't know it was visual effects. They thought it was just an actor doing his thing.
Man, this guy has a really good Christopher. No.
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing impression.
And he did. Ex Machina was the winner in 2016.
That's a great
I
movie.
saw Ex Machina and I was blown away. I thought it was real.
That was a very disturbing movie, but it was
Very
really good.
Very good. Well deserved. So tough competition in 2016 VFX.
I thought you were gonna say like Tough Cookies or something.
Tough
like
Cookies.
Tough
Rogue
Cookies,
One.
Rogue One.
that.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi was nominated for Best Achievement in Visual Effects, Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Picture Original Score, Best Achievement in Sound Editing, and Best Achievement in Sound Mixing.
Star Wars always on the cusp of sound mixing,
Glory.
sound editing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're always
Always on the cusp of glory.
I mean, Attack of the Clones should have won for those sonic charges alone.
the seismic charge.
You are so just
Hey man,
thrilled by that scene.
so many people love.
You are right though. When you're watching Attack of the Clones, all you're doing is like waiting.
What is that part?
You're like trying to figure out the chapter.
Yeah,
that is that part.
You're moving forward.
Like,
You're like just a simple man trying to make. No.
keep
going.
going. Camino he's right there. Okay.
He's still on Camino.
Geonosis is too
They're
far.
always
Too
on
far. Go back.
All right, let's not disparage that movie too much.
What? There was nothing bad about that.
I like the seismic charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he likes the seismic charges. Okay,
Seismic charges.
Wow.
Wow. That's what we were saying.
We
in
were
the
like,
theater.
wow.
good God.
We should be sound editors and mixers.
Yes. That
Maybe-
Ben Burt was just going, wow.
Maybe if
He
we
read the
pray,
script and
if
that
we
was
pray
his
hard
reaction.
enough to Ben Burt, we might become sound editors.
That's what we're hoping for.
Okay. So they were nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Best Achievement in Visual Effects, definitely. We've talked about in The Last Jedi how they took each shot and a lot of the close-ups and a lot of the wide shots and everything. It felt so visceral and so real. You know, especially a lot with Kylo showing his lightsaber up close. You know what I mean? Showing they did a lot of that type of stuff. Was a lot of visuals that were very up close, very real feeling, and then of course you had the hyperdrive scene.
Oh, that
Oh.
was just gorgeous.
Right.
That was absolutely beautiful. And it was so simple. It actually needed less flashiness.
Mhm.
It just needed a simple visual to be put on screen with no sound.
Yep.
And it got the point across.
And then the only sound you heard at the end of it was wow.
Wow.
Another sound that Johnny was thrilled to hear.
Mm.
That was a
Uh,
great sound,
It was.
like metal
It got the
hitting.
point across.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Solo: A Star Wars Story is nominated for Best Achievement in Visual Effects. The team that we are rooting on is Rob Bredow, Patrick Tubach, Neil Scanlon, and Dominic Toye. Tuohy.
I misspoke earlier. Rogue One was not in the 2016 Oscars. It was in the 2017 Oscars.
Mm.
I just wanted to correct myself.
Oh, okay. Solo. It's up for Best Achievement in Visual Effects.
And it is up against. I gotta find them, but it's we've talked many times. And ILM, if you follow ILM on Twitter, they show a lot of their VFX breakdowns of this movie. And most recent one they showed was something we discussed recently about how they built the world of I can't remember its
Corellia?
name. No.
The
world,
snow one.
The snow world where the heist takes place.
Yeah.
They
It's like
built
a V, isn't it?
It does start
something.
with a V. Yes.
Vandor.
Vandor might be it. yeah.
Maybe.
But if you follow ILM on Twitter, they released little videos of them and how they achieved certain aspects of the visual effects. And if you watch the behind the scenes of Solo, I'm sure you'll see them there too.
Something when we were talking about leading up to Solo that we all enjoyed so much was the realistic nature of how it looked. It looked like people were actually in Corellia. It looked like when Han was, flying that little speeder that he stole at the beginning. That there's just the look of everything felt so like I could reach out and touch this right now today.
Exactly.
And they kept it pretty low down. I mean, the biggest thing that we brought up, several weeks ago was the Millennium Falcon and how it was slowly breaking apart during the Kessel Run and how hard that would be because of how the model would change over and over and over again.
Yeah. the little speeder thing that he steals at the beginning of the movie. There's a VFX breakdown of that scene too,
I need to see that.
and it's split into 3 sequences because there's different camera angles, obviously, so they have to do different things for it. And it's really a car. They built a vehicle to drive around, and then they replaced everything as needed. And goodness, it's a beautiful scene. It's just like a car chase. It's just like we're watching Drive or Fast and the Furious, except we're in a galaxy far, far away, and I love it. All right, cool. I accidentally looked up the 2018 visual effects nominees, but I want to get the 2019 the opponents of Solo, so we can talk about them and we'll speculate about who will win.
I'm speculating.
I have tons of money in stocks because I'm always speculating.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, stocks, like with pigeons and whatnot.
No, I meant like the punishment, like with the
punishment. Oh, we have discussed this previously.
I was gonna say from memory, it's Ready Player One,
who is an ILM project. Avengers: Infinity War, another ILM project. Christopher Robin for its visual effects. First Man, the space movie
It's the
that
astronaut
involves
movies.
Earth space.
They always win.
Astronaut movies, yes, they do have a
because
strong history.
pretty much everything in those movies are visual effects
Good
or
point.
special effects in
Truly.
some type of way.
Very
Except
true.
for that one movie they shot all in space. Yeah.
Space, the movie.
No, the moon landing. You know that
Oh.
that movie, that completely
Yeah,
forged document that's out there.
yeah, they faked the moon landing on the moon.
They're like, we got to make this look real. We got to go to the moon.
That's what
The
it
only
was.
way we can fake this is if we do it for real. Oh my gosh, what if there was a
People
parody movie where
That's
there's
a genius idea.
Yeah, okay.
I actually
Let's
do
not bring
think
up too much of that so that we can make it in the
Yeah.
future.
There was the rumor that Stanley Kubrick was the one that filmed the fake moon landing, and I was like, I never would believe that because he would simply tell them in order to achieve his vision that he had to produce it on the moon.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, fine,
Dude, that can be a movie
It
for
could be.
real.
It could be.
And they're just trying to get the whims of this director who can make it happen, and it's a director of a movie that makes the moon landing actually happen, not NASA.
Yeah.
They're just following the lead.
And it's
That
actually
is a movie. Oh my god! What are we
and
doing?
it's like it was way like less like sophisticated than we're thinking. Like
Yeah.
they went there in like an actual airplane or
So-
something.
something like that. And then they finally NASA like at the end they're watching it, like the end of the movie. It's basically them like, we're gonna fool everybody. They're gonna think we actually went. Wait a second. We actually went to the moon, and then everybody cheers in the control room. We went to the moon. Roll credits.
If anyone knows how to inflate or deflate NASA's budget, it's a Hollywood studio.
So I asked the question, which Star Wars film has the most Oscar wins? And I'm just going to go off of our Facebook right now because Corey Day, Cillian Farrell, no one's on the Instagram. It's a hard question. Corey Day, Cillian Farrell, Mark Pittaway, and Jonathan Myers said, "A New Hope, A New Hope, A New Hope, A New Hope," and they all got it correct.
Good job.
Good job, everybody.
job.
Nice guess.
You get several thumbs up, a good old Chatter Squadron thumb up.
I give you a neutral thumb.
Oh, you need to watch the visual episode to see Johnny's neutral thumb motion there. So yeah, are you guys excited to see if Solo will grab that ring?
I think they should.
It will grab that ring.
I do like to watch the Oscars, and I'm happy that the reason I say this a lot that the reason I like the Oscars over other award shows or award ceremonies and stuff is because it's voted on by their peers. The members of the Academy are long-standing members of the acting, visual effects, directing, all those different
The
aspects.
guilds.
Yeah, the guilds, the various guilds. Unfortunately, yeah, it's been, covered in controversy lately for racial issues, inclusion issues, nomination issues, and most recently, and I think the thing that needs to really be addressed soon is the way that films are considered. there's a lot of lobbying that goes on. And granted, there's lobbying that happens anytime. Whenever we make a podcast and we want you guys to share it with your friends, we're kind of lobbying.
Yeah.
I mean, and that can be construed as negative if one uses negative tactics, and some people do. And that's a shame. But the fact that people hopefully take the time to consider the films, watch the films, and then make a vote to recognize great work. That's what's important. It's important to recognize people for great work. And some people can feel sick about the pretentiousness of it sometimes. It is very, very classic Hollywood. Everything's draped in gold and stuff. So it's very American, surely. But I think it's important because it is an industry that I would love to work in, and I look up to. I like to see people rewarded or recognized, rather, for their work.
Here's another question. Is there a podcast guild? I just want to be a part of a guild.
It really is, yeah. Do I get a sword?
Yeah.
You do.
What do you, how, wait, you know about the
You
podcast
don't have the
guild?
podcast sword?
I'm not familiar.
The podcast sword.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's the handle is like an old microphone.
Oh,
like the ones
wow.
that would
That's
come down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's get ready to
To
rumble.
write a report
Why don't
about
we-
about all the.
Sure.
I think you just made this.
I think you just like writing reports.
What?
I think you just made this fictional microphone sword into like maybe the coolest thing possible. So if that guild actually exists and that sword actually exists, hey guys, we would love to be a part of that.
The
Yeah.
hilt is just a boom mic.
We would just stand here with us the sword at all times, every single episode.
Please give us a sword.
Also, give us a follow on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Give us a 5-star rating and a review on iTunes and our Facebook page, where you can become the new Tiny King / Queen of the Tiny Chair of Tiny Victories, like Cad
We're
Bane's
still
bounty.
honoring Cad Bane's bounty.
Yeah,
What a
draped
great
in gold.
review.
Draped in gold.
Draped
still.
in gold as
I'll
well.
read it again. He says, "Destroy the presses. Your one-stop shop for sheaves, Canadian farming tips. Recommended. May the force be with you." Thank you, Cad Bane's bounty. You can dethrone this guy, though, and kick him right on his tuchus. Ooh, tuchus. I used a bad word.
Oh, he did. He gave me a shudder.
Oh, boy. All right, guys. I think that was some fun in villainy.
That was some fun in villainy. And good luck to Solo
Bon chance.
at the Oscars this weekend.
Yes, bonjour.
What?
We're doomed.